Back live with you tonight. Here on In Focus, the U.S. elections has seen presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump go on a charm offensive to woo all kinds of voters from various demographics. This includes Black American men who have recently been upset by comments made by former leader Barack Obama, who alluded to sexism as being one of the reasons why they are polled as showing the least support for Harris. Both campaigns have also been trying to garner support from the Hispanic and Muslim communities ahead of the vote on Tuesday in a race for the White House. Our senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo is is in one of seven swing states of Atlanta, Georgia, where she will be on election night. Mapolaba, good to have you. In a state such as the one you are in, which has a large African-American population, is there any way of knowing which way the pendulum will swing?
It's very difficult to tell, but of course the nervousness is in the air. And my next guest is a very interesting one, given the topic that you've just introduced, because he is a member of the House of Representatives and he's of Nigerian descent. So he's an African man who is actually a leader in this particular state, and he'll be able to tell us then what the outlook is like. Let's bring in then Segun Adeyina. You're, of course, a part of the Georgia House of Representatives. Thank you so much. I mean, you're an African man living in America and you've made it in U.S. politics. Just take us through the journey to getting to being a representative, given the kinds of language we're seeing that's being spoken about immigration. So you're a man of Nigerian descent. How did you make it here?
Well, I've been in the United States for 36 years. Like most Africans, came here seeking a better opportunity, education, and somehow over the years found myself staying, like most African diaspora, staying here, letting ourselves as good resources, contributing to society in our different professions. My background is electrical engineer. I work as an IT professional, but also living in this country, like most Africans, we have a concern on what's going on in our communities. And having been a strong advocate both in the Nigerian and African and Caribbean. One other thing you don't know about me, my background is also Caribbean. My mom's from St. Vincent and Grenadines. Wow. Just being in those communities made it important for me to get involved and participate.
And I mean, I know that part of your work has been around rallying Africans and really bringing them together, the diaspora together. When you look at that work and then look at the work that you're doing for this election, what is it about a candidate such as Kamala Harris that was attractive to you as an African man living in the U.S.?
Well, first of all, her background is very similar. She comes from immigrant parents. Her father being from Jamaica, her mother India. And being a diaspora and growing up with different cultural backgrounds is also important. And being American is also an opportunity to give back from a different perspective. What I really love about her drive is she has always been engaged as a public figure. If you look over her career, she served at all levels of government and she was electable. Those qualities I found very attractive, something that's very equitable, and something that is just that now at this time that America is going to have a woman for the first time as president of the United States with a diversity of backgrounds.
I mean, this election has been described as a fight for democracy. And when you look at back home, there've been, when I say back home, I'm talking about the African continent. There have been several elections, but in the SADC region in particular, in South Africa, where I'm from, and Botswana most recently, when you look at the electoral outcomes of those countries, they've provided tectonic shifts, so to speak. We have a government of national unity now. In Botswana, the opposition, after more than half a century, they've managed to be in power. In this election here in the United States, do you think we are going to see such a situation that Americans are ready, Black American men in particular, are ready for that kind of change?
Well, let's talk about what's happening in South Africa and Botswana. Those are the voices of the people. Those shifts in the way policy is going to be shaped in those countries are going to be tremendously different from what they used to be, because the people have voiced, and that's why we see such a change in the unity government in South Africa. That's what democracy is about. When we look at the United States and what's about to happen, we're so polarized through this election right now, to the left and to the right, where the rhetoric is a rhetoric of hate and division. And what we need in this country is common sense government that speaks and represents all people. And that's what is coming. In the next 48 hours, we're going to see this. And when you look at most countries that have made that shift, primarily for me, I've seen there have been women that have taken that lead. We look at Liberia, we look at the UK, we look at Jamaica, we look at a lot of countries that have had women be in the leadership and made that change. So I do believe this is the right time. I do believe this is a time that when we look at diversity and equity, the challenges that the U.S. has today, this is the right person, no doubt in my mind.
Of course, no confusion about where you stand. But just last one from my side then. I mean, African-American men have been the subject of this election. Well, I've seen now recent days, it's women who actually are said that they might actually be, leading this election and actually be the ones that tip the scales. But when it comes to African men, because you are an African man who is in the diaspora, the comments made by former President Barack Obama raised the ire of, Black American men here because, he alluded to sexism, and they felt to an extent that it was oversimplifying the overcriminalization of Black men, for an example, besides the economic aspect and the social aspect. A Kamala Harris administration, how would it change that from your view?
Well, I think we can't ignore the challenges that Black men like myself have had in this country. And it dates back from slavery to present day. I think the justice has never been balanced when it deals with Black men. And being a man, when you take the figure and you lead your family, your home, your family looks to you to take that charge. And when you look at America, you've seen the journey of the Black man has been extremely challenged. And we get that. So the institution is really what we need to look at. How do we make the institution more equitable, open access, and give opportunities for people of diverse backgrounds, Black and brown, because it also affects brown people too. Obama wasn't trying to simplify the situation. He was trying to be a voice to lend Black men to say, this is the time that we have to stand up, and we understand the institutions. We do have to address that, and that's why we have to stand up now. So I think with a Kamala Harris, based on the programs that she has and she's talked about, there are practical programs that will engage Black men and start to empower us to do more and have more participation when it comes to wealth and opportunities in the United States.
All right, that's Segun Adeyina. He is in the Georgia House of Representatives here in the United States, talking about his own personal journey, but of course then campaigning for Kamala Harris as an African man who's been here for 36 years and just monitoring just how divided society is. That's something that's undeniable about this election, and which candidate will bring them together. Well, we'll only know once America decides in less than 24 hours from now. Thabo.